Hey everyone, I did a broadcast earlier today and it just did not seem to come out the way I wanted it to. So I wanted to jump on here real quick and give you some quick tips. Today is the practicum. So I will be giving you a practicum every week so that you can start your preparations, even if you feel like, hey, I don't think that there's going to be famine. I don't think this and that's going to happen. I want to explain something to you. People always prepared for winter, for instance. There was always preparation for the future. And so it's just wise and intelligent, regardless of what you believe. I'm just going to tell you, there's a little sense of urgency to make sure that you do start preparing. There's not a need for fear mongering or going out and going nuts and buying everything off the shelves. That's not what I'm saying. And if you don't know what I mean, go back to my broadcast on this past Wednesday and I break it down and I explain to you all of the different systems of wealth transfer that has been occurring, and it's right in front of you, but I want you guys to see it. So what I'm talking about now is agricultural wealth transfer. We're going to get into that next week and what that really looks like and why that may be important in the future. So first thing you do is when you're wanting to prepare and you're wanting to prepare and you're wanting to stock up on food and resources, the first thing you do is you make a plan. First, I want you guys to take a look at what you actually eat. Many times people want to buy MREs. If you don't know what that is, those are like the military types of food, that military, packaged food. It's either dehydrated or it's packaged in some way. They either buy MREs or they'll buy the dehydrated food from different companies and things like that. Like Patriot, forgot the name of the company, and there's a couple others. Augustin Farms, I'm probably saying them wrong because I didn't buy any of their products, but I see it all the time. So that's dehydrated food. It's different than, that's freeze-dried food, which is different than dehydrated food. And it's a different, you can buy a freeze dryer. It costs several $1,000s. If you have it, I get it. I wish I could. So what you do is you make a plan and look at what you actually eat. And you start storing up 1 week at a time. Every month, because there's inflation and there's a lot of stuff going on. My husband and I, we started preparing last year on supplies, all kinds of different things, right? And we started changing the way we did things because I started finding out there's safer, more natural, effective ways of cleaning that's not detrimental to your health. Some people just don't believe it, but I'm telling you, bleach does not even kill everything. And people don't always know that, but it actually does not even kill everything. It kills 99.99% of certain types of germs, yes. But there are actually cleaners or disinfectants that are non-toxic, first of all, that have very little or no smell or very little smell, and it's not going to harm your health. You don't even need a mask. And many of you are cleaning your houses with bleach and all kinds of stuff, and you don't wear a mask. You're actually slowly damaging your lungs and parts of your body. So I'm jumping ahead. That's another episode. So take 1 week at a time, look at what you're eating, and every month get 1 week's extra worth of food and store it. And I'm going to talk to you guys about storing different types of things and how you store things. You don't store everything the same way. Some people want to vacuum seal everything. You actually can't do that for everything. There's some things that you can't do that with. Some things it's better to have an oxygen absorber. And so we'll go over all those different things. And it's really simple because I want to give you guys these things in bite-sized pieces so that you're not overwhelmed. I'm one of those people that I will do a deep dive and I'll get in there and I'll just start doing stuff. So I don't have a problem with that. And if you're one of those people, hey, that's great. Make sure you put in the comments, though, if you are one of those people or if you already started preparing and what you've done to prepare. So first thing is get a week's worth of food. Make sure you're doing that. Make sure that if you do that every month, at the end of the year, you will have 3 months worth of food stored up. So that's not overwhelming, right? If you can do more, do more. But really start looking at what this looks like. What does my family eat on a month-to-month basis? Do I need to buy a freezer? What is it? There's a way for everybody to do something. If you want to buy the freeze-dried food, you can. It is very expensive. Since my family, we're vegetarians, we don't have to do it. I even saw that there's dehydrated vegetable protein, and guess what? You've already been eating it. They usually mix it in with meat in a lot of ways, and it's not bad for you. It's very good for you. It's gotten a bad rap because I think McDonald's did it years ago. They got a bad rap for it. So then they're like, okay, fine, we're just going to do all beef. But yeah, there's actually nothing wrong with it. It's a good, clean protein source. It's actually good for you. So there's different ways of doing that. So we're vegetarian. We have vegetable protein. We have different ways of getting protein in our foods and all that. If you're interested in that, put that in the comments too, and I'll tell you all about it and what we do. We do eat fish sometimes, so I guess technically we're pescatarian. But yeah, we do that, and that's the only meat we'll have. We do have eggs and all that. So the other thing I want to talk to you guys about, hydroponics. It doesn't have a bad rap. I think a lot of people are learning about it, but if you don't understand it exactly, there's a way of growing vegetables or fruit or anything that you want to grow in soil, but you can also do it in water. People have found a way, and there are ways to grow just about everything. I've even seen bonsai grape vines, and you can grow that hydroponically if you want to and have grapes in your house. And if you don't know anything about bonsai trees, that's when they take any sort of tree or vine that becomes wooded like a grapevine, any type of tree, and they cultivate it into a miniature version where it's producing, and it actually produces real sized grapes in these bonsai grape trees, grapevines. And so, but anyway, hydroponics is when you grow something in water and a nutrient solution. So that means you put your nutrients, your concentrated nutrients, in your water, and the plants don't have to push around and take so much time in getting the nutrients in. So they actually grow faster and sometimes even much larger than what you could, a lot of times, not always, much larger than what you could do out in soil. Soil has to be cultivated over time and really worked at, and it gets better and better as the years go by. But if you want to get something done now, you can do it hydroponically. You can grow anything. There's people that grow flowers in their hydroponics. All sorts of flowers, small versions of, or even large, depending on the hydroponic system you have, of sunflowers and things like that. But you can do pretty much any herb. You can do peppers. Peppers do great. They do great no matter what you do. They're pretty easy. Tomatoes, all kinds of tomatoes. And I'll have to explain different types of seeds and things that you could do indoors versus outdoors. Hey, if you have the space, you can plant whatever you want indoors. But if you don't have the space, then I'll give you some clues on different things. But these are easy things. Lettuce is, a no-brainer. There's no reason to buy lettuce in the store. It's actually one of the most bought things in the produce section, and you can buy it in your house, and you don't have to worry about Listeria or whatever it's called, and E. coli or whatever starts showing up in the vegetables. You can do it yourself. There's no pesticides whatsoever. You're good. So people do miniature eggplant, and here's the thing about these things. People will say, well, I buy vegetables and I let them die. Guess what? When you grow them, you don't let that die. We would let lettuce die in our refrigerator. We don't let lettuce die anymore. I see that they're getting too overgrown, and the whole family's like, time to eat. When you grow it, you tend not to waste it. My daughter started testing leaves and eating them, stuff that I never, because she won't eat a salad, but she'll go over to the farm stand, our unit, and start pulling off leaves and eating it. But she won't eat a salad. And she's getting her vegetables by snacking on them off of it. Hey, I'm good with that. You can grow beans of any kind. My favorite are dragon tongue beans, which is a type of bean similar to green beans, but to me, they're tastier. It's a little bit sweet too. They're very delicious. You can eat them raw. And many of you don't know what it's like to eat things raw. And you would think, oh, that's not going to taste good. Oh, gosh. I was one of those people. It's delicious. I prefer them raw than cooked. I almost feel like I'm losing something when I do. But some vegetables are better. Actually, you can break open the nutrients when they're cooked, like broccoli. You can eat it raw or you can cook it, but cooking it, you get more, steaming it just a little bit, you actually break open more of the nutrients, become more bioavailable to you when you're, when you're eating them. I hope you guys can hear everything I'm saying. I think my finger was over the mic for a little bit. So yeah, you can grow hydroponically, pretty much anything. There are different ways of doing it, different types of systems. There's small countertop systems. I know someone who has they have the smallest apartment, not the smallest, they have a very small apartment, and she's able to grow hydroponically, and she has a little bitty balcony she can grow. I've taught people how to grow in soil, and you can grow hydroponically outdoors actually, because the sun will light it all up. You just put it in your whatever system you're trying to grow in, and you can grow hydroponically outside if you like. There's different methods of hydroponics. We'll get into that later, but I just wanted to give you guys some clues of things that you can start doing now instead of waiting until, it's too late. Now is a good time to store up seeds. Here's the thing though, if you get onion seeds only last about a year or two. They don't last very long. So I'll talk to you about preservation methods, ways that you can do it. Certain seeds like lettuce typically last about 5 years. You can if you take really, really good care of something, sometimes it'll last, way longer than you think. Or you'll get a seed packet and you may have to put 10 of them in your pot or whatever you're growing it in, just to get 2 of them to germinate. But it's still, a few of them are viable, because with lettuce seeds, you're getting like 1,000 of them. And it's very little, because they're tiny. People always say that mustard seeds are the tiniest. The Bible doesn't say they're the smallest. It says that they're small. They're not the smallest seed. There are smaller. There are seeds, flower seeds that I saw that looked like a little speck of dust. And if I didn't know what it was, I wouldn't have planted it. I wouldn't know. It looked like dust. But yeah, there's all sorts of different types of seeds and seed preservations and things like that. Did I cover it all, babe? Hydroponics and preparing. I think so. So make sure you guys get started. I wanted to make this pretty quick. And that's how the practicums will be. They'll be quick. They'll be around 15 minutes or under. Love you guys. Put in the comments if you are growing hydroponically, if you're growing in soil, if you're growing your own vegetables. I have helped people to, I've had a few clients where they took me on a Zoom call. I was able to see the space that they had available, either inside or outside, and make recommendations of what they could use based on their budget, how they could build things out, what they needed to, grow. I have seen people grow watermelon in hydroponics indoors and outdoors. There are different ways of doing it. It's, some are going to take up more space than others, because watermelon needs, room, but you can grow any kind of squash, zucchini. I actually have squash sprouting right now, cucumbers, and zucchini that are these are full-size plants, but they are a bush style plant. Well, not my cucumber. I have a trellis next to it. I just want to experiment. And like I said in my last broadcast, I was the one that killed everything. And now I can grow pretty much anything. So if I can do it, literally anyone can do it. One other thing, pest control. Indoors, your pest control is pretty easy. There's 2 methods. Either you can put hydrogen peroxide. I would have to tell you how much. But it's usually like a little bit per gallon. But hydrogen peroxide, and there's something else called hydrochlorous, not hydrochloric, but hydrochlorous acid. Hydrochlorous acid, HOCl, I believe is another way of doing it. You can buy it on Amazon for about $25. If I were you, I would get the 500 parts per million. You're like, what does that mean? It'll be on you'll see it. There's some that are less than that, but I would do that one. And I would do half a tablespoon per gallon. So typically a countertop system, and yours will tell you, they'll usually tell you in liters. How many liters are in a gallon, baby? Is it 2, 4? I think it's 4 liters in a gallon. So let's say it's like 3 liters. That's like, no. 3.9 or something. It's real close. So it's almost 4. So yours may say 6 liters. That's about 1.5 gallons roughly. So that means if you have 500 parts per million for your hydrochlorous acid, then you're going to do 1.5 tablespoons. of hydrochloric acid. It helps with any pathogens, viruses, bacteria that may occur. You can grow with regular tap water. You don't have to use distilled. I suggest distilled, but I have so many systems now, I'm not doing it. I can't keep up with it. I'm going to talk to you guys about good equipment to have in your house. When I say equipment, I'm just talking about regular things that you will be using on a regular basis in your home so that you don't always have to keep buying it. Products that you can have on hand in your house that you can use for a lot of different things. So if you have it available, you can use it for a lot of different things. And anything I tell you about is going to be non-toxic and highly effective, because I've done deep dives for several years. I wanted to find what could kill COVID and everything else without it being bleach, because bleach doesn't kill everything. Number one, it's toxic. And hydrochloric acid, I can spray it on my face. It's non-toxic. It kills 80 to 100 times more than bleach, but it's non-toxic. We think toxic means it will kill everything. Toxic means it will kill you. Not that it will kill everything. You can have non-toxic. As a matter of fact, if you mix, and I don't know the exact ratios, but if you have thyme oil and citric acid and water, it will also kill quite a bit. I don't know the formula. There's a product on the market that does that. It's not available in stores, but there are ways of killing things. I tell people all the time, vinegar is your best friend, and it's extremely cheap, especially right now. Stock up on vinegar. You can get it for a whole gallon. It's like $2 and something. Get the off-brand. You don't have to get get tons of vinegar. And I try to keep about 8 to 10 vinegar gallons. And there's one more thing. Rotating your food. So when you buy in bulk and when you're buying things and you're getting extra, when you use one can of something or one whatever, put it on your shopping list as though you don't have it anymore, because you need to replace it. You see how that works? When you eat it, you replace it. That way you always have, and you're building on your stockpile. That's another important piece that I want to tell you guys. All right, love y'all. Bye.